One of the first things that are best to set up within a farm that you're aiming to regenerate and develop lots of plantings within it is a nursery system, so that you can produce those plants as economically as possible, because it's quite possible and cheap to produce large numbers of young plants through a nursery production in a way that enables you to create the kind of broadacre regenerative landscape where slopes are planted and there's a lot of tree crops and fruit crops integrated into your production. So to set up a nursery area, three main things that are good to think about is, one is a greenhouse with an automated watering system where you're creating that warm, moist environment that is going to be most favourable for the growth of the young plant, either from a cutting or from a seed, to stimulate its fastest growth so that you can get your productivity going as quickly as possible and as early in the season as possible. So the kind of automated systems you may use is one perhaps with a solar panel for electricity, and then geared into some way of measuring the moisture or some timed regulation of delivering that water to the plants. And that may be either through a sprinkler or through a mister. The more delicate and fine the plants are, the more fine the water delivery to those plants should be. The other one is a shaded area, so that as the plants are moved from that greenhouse and they're prepared for planting out on site, they need some toughening up before they can be planted. So the shaded area enables them to grow in their second year often, and just give them some protection from that more intense summer sun, so that they have an opportunity to grow a bigger root system, to experience more the fuller range of environmental conditions they're going to experience once they're planted out on site, but be protected from drying out from the more intense summer sun, while they've still got quite a small root system to be able to retain the water to survive that kind of condition. The other thing is a compost area, and a way to sieve that compost so that you've got a supply of potting mix to be able to support your nursery production, both in the greenhouse and within the shaded area. And that can be of any source. The better for making efficient compost, it's good to have a diversity of nitrogen rich and carbon rich materials blended at a ratio of 3 to 1, 3 carbon rich to 1 nitrogen rich material, and to go for a diversity of materials so that they create the more nutrient diverse and more functionally complex compost. And it's good to sieve that compost, because especially when you're planting the seedlings and the young cuttings, any rough material in that can undermine the productivity of the growth of those seedlings in that system there. And a good way to do that is just to sieve. You can create a barrel, so you can take the rims of a bike, for example, create some parallel bars to support those two rims, and then wrap it around with some chicken wire, and then you've got a chicken wired barrel, and you can rotate that above, say, a wheelbarrow, and you just pile on your compost at an angle, so that as you're rotating that barrel, the fine material will be collected within your wheelbarrow, and the more coarse material will drop down in a pile, which you can add other materials to go through another round of composting. And that way you're going to collect within that wheelbarrow a nice, fine, rich compost that you can either mix with some sand or some pumice to help improve the drainage of it, for cuttings, for example, or you can just use it as it is for propagation of seeds, and it'll be a nice fine mixture to do that. And then you may want to mix that with some more just a topsoil for putting into your potting mix for the plants that are going to harden off for their second season of growth.